Good morning, students. Last class we were compared the merits to demerits of Bohr's atomic model. So today class de Broglie theory. Before going to de Broglie theory, first of all we have to know about the dual nature of the light and also particles. So generally the light are electromagnetic radiations having the dual nature. Okay, last class we discussed the light are electromagnetic radiations propagated in two waves. So, in one of the ways is the light is propagated in the form of electromagnetic radiation, or the light is propagated in the form of small energy packets. Okay, so this is called a dual nature. Okay, like light or electromagnetic radiation. Electromagnetic radiation. Like light or radiation, the particles of the matter also have this type of dual nature. Particles of the matter. Particles of matter is also have dual nature. Means the particles of the matter also move like a wave, like a particle. Okay, the particles of the matter also propagate or move like a wave or like a particles. So that's why the particles of the matter also have the dual nature. Okay, then the dual nature of the particles of the matter is explained by the de Broglie theory. Okay, then what is de Broglie theory? So in 1924th year, in 1924th year, de Broglie scientist was explained the wavelength of the wave is associated with mass of the particle m having velocity v. That relation is given by the formula lambda is equal to h by mv. This equation is nothing but de Broglie wave equation. So once again, 1924th year, de Broglie scientist was explained the wavelength of the wave means lambda is associated with mass of the particle m moving with velocity v. That relation is given by the formula lambda is equal to h by mv. This equation is nothing but de Broglie wave equation or de Broglie equation. Okay, in this equation lambda is represented the wave nature of the particle, mv is represented the particle nature of the particle. Means this equation give the explain the both wave nature and also particle nature of the particles of the matter, and also this equation is explain the wave nature and also particle nature of the light or radiation. Okay, so then how to derive this equation by the de Broglie scientist? So according to the de Broglie theory, this equation what he was given the relation? According to the de Broglie theory, he was given the relation between the wavelength of the wave and also mass of the moving particle m with velocity v is given by the formula lambda is equal to h by mv. This is called de Broglie equation. This equation is obtained from the two other equations. Then what are the two other equations? One is Planck's quantization of energy. Planck's quantization of energy. According to the Planck's quantization of energy, E is equal to h nu formula. Planck's quantization of energy. So that is from the equation 1, E is equal to h nu. Then second equation, according to the Einstein mass energy equation. Einstein mass energy equation. E is equal to mc square. E is equal to mc square. So this is second equation. By comparing the equation 1 and the equation 2, de Broglie was derived this equation. How to derive this equation? By comparing the equation 1 and 2. See here. Comparing equation 1 and equation 2. E is equal to h nu. Here E is equal to mc square. Therefore h nu is equal to mc square na. Here. From the equation 1, this is from equation 2. Here nu is equal to c by lambda na. Then substitute that value in this equation. Then what happens? hc by lambda is equal to mc square. C and square is cancelled. Then remaining h by lambda is equal to mc. Then you separate lambda. Then lambda is equal to h by mc. This equation is applicable for the light or radiation. This equation is applicable for the light or radiation. This is also de Broglie equation, but it is applicable for the light or radiation. Why it is applicable to light or radiation? Because of here c is represent the velocity of light, m is mass of the photon, h is Planck's constant, lambda is the wavelength of the light or radiation. So again this equation is modified for the particles. So again this equation modified to lambda is equal to h by m. So this is modified de Broglie equation. This equation is applicable for the particles of the matter. Here lambda is equal to wavelength, m is the mass of the particle, v is the velocity of the particle. Here c is equal to velocity of light, here v is equal to velocity of the particles. That's why this is applicable for the light or radiation. This equation is applicable for the particles. Okay. Again here mv is equal to momentum. The product of mass and velocity is equal to momentum p. So instead of mv, we can write h by p. Okay. Here the lambda is inversely proportional to momentum of the particle. Here h is constant. To remove the constant, then we can write like this: lambda proportional to 1 by p. Means the wavelength of the particle is inversely proportional to its momentum. Wavelength of the particle is inversely proportional to its momentum, that is lambda equal to h by p. So this is equal to the de Broglie theory. So this equation is equation 1, this is equation 2, and this is equation 3. These equations are applicable for the light or radiation and also microscopic particles. Smallest microscopic particles, these equations are applicable, but not applicable for the macroscopic particle. Then what are macroscopic particles? Like cricket ball or stone, these are bigger size particles, or macroscopic particles. For that particles, this type of equations are not applicable. Okay, why means de Broglie theory is only explain the like radiation or light, only the particles of matter, means the microscopic particles only have the dual nature. But cricket ball and stones, that the type of the particles do not contain the dual nature. That's why this is applicable only for the microscopic particles. This equation is applicable for the microscopic particles, because microscopic particles only have the dual nature, but macroscopic particles do not contain the dual nature. That's why it is applicable for the microscopic particle, not applicable for the macroscopic particles. Okay. So last one point, according to de Broglie theory, what is the main concept? Means like electrons, like microscopic particles revolving around the nucleus like a wave. That is the main important point of de Broglie theory. So according to Bohr's theory, what we can understand, the electron is revolving around the nucleus in a particular path. Electrons revolving around the nucleus in a particular path. That is according to the Bohr's theory. But according to the de Broglie theory, what he was explained, so in this Bohr's atomic model, electrons revolving around the nucleus like a particle like motion, But in this de Broglie theory, the electrons revolving around the nucleus like a wave motion. Means this is electrons revolving around the nucleus like a wave. So this type of the wave motion is possible in this orbit. So that is about the main concept of de Broglie theory. According to the Bohr's atomic model, electrons revolving around the nucleus like a particle-like motion. According to the de Broglie theory, electrons like microscopic particles not also have the particle nature, it contains the wave nature also. That's why he was explained the electrons revolving around the nucleus like a wave-like motion. That is about the de Broglie theory. Then next one concept is how the de Broglie theory is a good agreement with Bohr's atomic model. That is next one concept. Then next one is the relation between the or correlation between the de Broglie theory and also Bohr's atomic model. So just now compared to the de Broglie theory. According to de Broglie theory, what he was explained, de Broglie scientist, the electrons revolving around the nucleus like a wave. That is the de Broglie theory concept. Electrons revolving around the nucleus like a wave. Here, this is the nucleus. This is an orbit. Electrons revolving around the nucleus like a wave. Okay, that is the information of de Broglie theory. So this type of electron motion is two types. First one is the constructive wave. Another one is the destructive wave. Constructive wave, another one is the destructive wave. So this is also called the standing wave. This is the non-standing wave. This is the electron is in phase. So this is the electron is out of phase or out phase. Electron is in phase, electron is out phase. Then what is the constructive wave or standing wave? Or electron is in phase. So in this constructive wave means, so this is the nucleus of atom. The both ends of the wave will meet with each other. That is called constructive wave. Both end means this is one end. So this is one end of the wave. This is another end. Both ends of the wave will meet with each other. That is called constructive wave. So when it is possible means, the orbit circumference 2 pi r is integral multiple of lambda. Then only constructive wave is possible. So orbital circumference 2 pi r. This is circumference of orbit. The orbit circumference is integral multiple of wavelength of the wave. Then only constructive wave is possible. Then what about the destructive wave? See here, this is the atom nucleus. Destructive wave means both ends of the wave will not meet with each other. This is one end. So that is both ends of the wave will not meet with each other. That is called destructive wave. So when it is generally it is not occur, it may be due to the loss of energy in the form of radiation. Then only it is possible. So it may be the destructive wave is when it is possible means the electrons revolving in this orbit. Sometimes it may be loss of energy in the form of radiation. Then only it is possible. Otherwise this is not possible. So electron revolving in this orbit, certain time or sometimes that electrons lost certain amount of energy in the form of radiation. Then only destructive wave is possible. Otherwise it is not possible. So in these cases the circumference of the orbit 2 pi r is not equal to integral multiple of the wavelength of wave. So that is about the destructive wave. 2 pi r is not equal to n lambda. But always constructive wave is possible, destructive wave is not possible. Very rare condition it is possible. That is also I told. What is the rare condition? In certain times electron revolved in this orbit, it may lose energy in the form of radiation. Then only destructive wave is possible. Otherwise it is not possible. So that's why it is generally not occur. But always constructive wave is possible in the atom. So this is the constructive wave formula. This is destructive wave formula. Then what is the relation between the de Broglie theory and Bohr's atomic model? So the Bohr's atomic model is what is the formula of Bohr's atomic model? 2 pi r is equal to n lambda, constructive. Here lambda is equal to h by mv na. Then substitute that value in this equation. 2 pi r is equal to nh by mv. So we have to substitute that value in this equation. Therefore 2 pi r mv is equal to nh. Therefore mvr is equal to nh by 2 pi. What is the equation? mvr is nothing but angular momentum of electron is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Angular momentum of electron revolving in this orbit is integral multiple of h by 2 pi. So this is the de Broglie theory postulates. This is the Bohr's atomic model postulates. This is the de Broglie theory equation. So from this de Broglie theory equation we can derive the Bohr's atomic model equation. That's it. The Bohr's atomic model is a good agreement with de Broglie theory. So by using this equation, the de Broglie theory is good agreement with Bohr's atomic model. So from this de Broglie theory equation we can derive the Bohr's atomic model postulates. That's why it is a good agreement with de Broglie theory is good agreement with Bohr's atomic model. This is about the relation between the de Broglie theory and the Bohr's atomic model. Then next one concept is Heisenberg uncertainty principle.